So we had a heck of a weekend, I would call it, in college football. A really great weekend if you are a fan of the Sun Belt, if you're a fan of Arkansas State, if you're a fan of Louisiana Lafayette, maybe the greatest weekend of your college football life. And if you're a fan of an ACC team or a Big 12 team, even if they lost, I think you had to be kind of excited about the fact that college football was back in general. We're going to be joined by Joel Klatt, who called the lead college football game, one of those upsets, Arkansas State going on the road and beating Kansas State. But a lot of the drama, and I just teased this as we went to break, a lot of the drama has surrounded what's going to happen in the Big Ten. And if you listen to this show or you read Outkick or you pay a lot of attention to what we talk about on a daily basis, I kind of walked you through what I believed was the most likely outcome in the Big Ten. And I certainly wrote this on Saturday morning. Big Ten football is going to play. That's based on all the conversations that I have had. The Corona Bros are going to take this one on the chin. My understanding is the new medical reports that have been conveyed is going to lead to a new vote among all of the chancellors and presidents. That vote could happen as soon as Monday. It's going to happen early this week. And they are going to, what I have been told is, play the season starting on October 17th. And the idea would be that you would be able to play 8 or 9 conference games. You would then have the Big Ten title game, and you would hope that your team or teams are able to qualify for the college football playoff in the wake of that game taking place, the conference title game in the Big Ten on December 19th. The College Football Playoff Committee would then make their decision about who the playoff teams are on December 20th. That would mean that everybody is playing except for the Pac-12 in the 5 major conferences. Obviously, Mountain West not playing as well as the MAC. But this would be a significant reversal of the decision that was made earlier. And that reversal would directly implicate their ability to play in the playoff this season. So the absurdity of Pittsburgh already playing and of all the high school teams playing and of the Eagles and the Steelers playing, but Penn State not being able to play, it would be gone. And the same absurdity would be gone as it pertains to Ohio, with state high school teams being able to play in Ohio, with the University of Cincinnati being able to play, with the Browns and Bengals playing yesterday, and suddenly Ohio State would be able to play as well. So again, follow through on what I am hearing right now is that there would be a new schedule and the Big Ten would begin playing on October 17th. And as a part of playing on October 17th, they would play what I am hearing is an 8 or a 9-game conference schedule. Again, that would allow 3 games in October in theory, 4 games to be played in November, 2 more weeks that you would theoretically be able to play in December, the 5th and the 12th. So if you add all of those up, that theoretically would mean that you would have right now 9 weeks to play, and you would either play 9 straight weeks, which could be a challenge, with a 10th week where you could play in the Big Ten title game, or you would play 8 with 1 bye week with the Big Ten title game then coming. Now, here's the obvious complication there. The SEC is starting on September 26th, which is next week, which is a good feeling to be able to say if you're a college football fan. The SEC is playing their conference title game on December 19th as well, but they have built in a couple of different bye weeks in the event that they have issues. They're also playing 10 games in their conference. So you can already see how the Big Ten, with the decision that they are putting in place with the idea of starting October 17th, is not building in a lot of different opportunities for themselves to be able to handle if anything goes a little bit awry. And so that is the biggest challenge going forward, trying to figure out exactly what and how this would look, is just seeing what the overall landscape would look like for the Big Ten. Now, a lot of people out there initially, when we started saying on this show, hey, we feel good about the opportunity to play starting in October, a lot of people out there in the media told me that I was crazy. They may have even told some of you were crazy. Oh, Clay Travis, he has no idea what he's talking about. I felt pretty good about the people I was talking to and the goal being to play on October 17th. And so I really do believe that the Pac-10 is going to find a way to play. And, the Big Ten, Pac-12 is going to be left on an island here. They are going to be the only major conference that is not actually playing. And if they aren't playing, I don't really know how they rectify this. I think this is a decision that at least keeps the Big Ten somewhat in the conversation. For the Pac-12, I think they're a total mess. Because some people now are saying, well, the Pac-12 could start playing in November. Well, what's the point of that? You've already eliminated yourself from college football playoff contention. And some of you are also saying, well, let's be honest, the Pac-12 is never included in the very often the conversation for the playoff, other than when they had Marcus Mariota and Oregon. The Pac-12 hasn't found a way to get a team in. So this is worth paying attention to. The other thing I've been told, and this kind of surprised me because I thought that wasn't very likely, I've been told they're going to play the bowl games. That the college football conferences, in particular the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC, are all planning on playing a full bowl schedule. So I kind of anticipated, we'd get a 4-game college football playoff, but there's no way the bowl games would actually take place. And I now am being told, no, the bowl games are going to take place as well. So you would get in most of these conferences that are already starting play, the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC, not only full schedules, but you would also get the conference championship games as well as bowl games for the teams that are lower ranked and aren't actually going to be able to ordinarily have a chance to compete for a conference championship. They would still have an incentive to continue to play because they could get into a big bowl game. Now, how exactly those teams are going to get slotted and everything else remains uncertain. Now, the big battle that is out there for the Big Ten is it looks like they're going to be able to play and they're going to get the president and chancellor votes necessary to play. Then they need to have an NFL-like testing procedure where nobody is getting sick, right? Nobody is testing positive. I shouldn't even say getting sick because almost no one testing positive on a college campus is actually needing to have any sort of significant medical treatment. Indeed, the number most recently that I heard was over 26,000 college kids have tested positive for COVID, and none of them have needed to be hospitalized on any of these college campuses. And indeed, the overall numbers on COVID continue to decline rapidly. We are approaching the lowest number of people hospitalized with COVID since March in this country. I believe the number is right around 30,000 nationwide right now. For instance, the state of Florida put out numbers and said 6% of all hospital beds are occupied by COVID patients. The rest are people who are sick with something other than that. And by the way, Florida on Sunday reported 8 COVID deaths, which is an insanely low number. Whatever outbreak we had in the South, in Florida, in Texas, in Arizona, all of those seem to be pretty much done. And that's why we're able to have college football crowds. And again, I think the big question that's going to be in demand or going to be much debated is this: how in the world do you handle all of the challenges that could come with a late start date from the Big Ten of October 17th? But that's a lot less significant of a challenge than whether or not they were going to play in the first place. And it now seems like there's not going to be any issue at all with the season actually being able to be played. Now, we still need the votes to take place, and what exact time and date that's going to occur, I don't know. But you've heard so many people out there saying there was no way the Big Ten was going to be able to play this fall. That's not a concern anymore. There have been a lot of people working really hard, including Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren, Sandy Barber at Penn State. I could give you a lot of different names, lots of coaches. James Franklin and Ryan Day have worked as hard as they possibly can to try to find a way to get all of these procedures and activities in place to be able to have their kids to be able to play in college. All of this is a moving target. One day, honestly, I feel like the Big Ten's college football decision-making could be a 30-30 for itself, documentary style. You got the White House, President Trump involved, so many different people doing whatever they can to try to make it a reality, and I think that reality is actually going to occur. So that is the absolute latest so far as I know, based on talking to a lot of different people involved in the Big Ten right now. Solid optimism that they are going to play, a start date expected of October 17th. This is Outkick, the coverage on Fox Sports Radio. Up next, it's Joel Klatt on Fox Sports Radio.